So, hello students. Once again, we are with Nihit Parikh. Nihit, actually, today we will discuss the MICA program. Basically, MICA offers the three program. One is PGP and second is FPM and third is Triple C. But today we will discuss on the PGP program, that is PGDM and PGDM-C. So Nihit has appeared in the MICA interview. So he will share the experience कि कैसा रहा उनका, like जैसे ही वो कैंपस में गए इंटरव्यू देने के लिए और इंटरव्यू जो उनका डी डे था, व्हाट वाज द एक्सपीरियंस एंड व्हाट वाज द होल प्रोसेस. Okay, Nihit, yes please, can you give a brief about your D day and before that, like application forms and what was the profile form? Yes please.
Okay, so before I start talking about the D-Day, let me start talking about the specializations that MICA offers. You can go through the MICA website. MICA offers 4 specializations: advertising and brand management, digital communication management, marketing analytics, media, and entertainment management. So MICA has a 12 weeks each, 3-term program for every academic year. So that makes it a 6-semester program for 2 years. And MICA has 2 available options for PGP that students can choose from. One is PGDM and another is PGDM-C. The one difference that I could find between PGDM and PGDM-C is that PGDM students have to compulsorily appear for the Urban Impact Project, which is of 6 credits, versus that is optional for PGDM-C students. And there are 3 courses which are mentioned on MICA website that PGDM-C students have to compulsorily go for, such as decoding customer engagement, global corporate governance policy and ethics, and legal aspects of business, which are optional for PGDM students. Now, if I'm to talk about my D-Day experience, so my interview was held a week back, and I went to MICA campus, which is at Shela, Gujarat, and I appeared there in the morning. There was a registration process. Given the pandemic, they took all the measures to make sure that there is a social distancing. And there were around 25 to 30 students जो वहाँ पे interview के लिए मेरे slot में आए थे. So all of us had to wait in the waiting area, and there was a registration process जहाँ पे आपका CAT का score card, XAT का score card, plus आपका MICAT का score card, and 2-3 जो other documents that they ask you for, which are very necessary as a part of the registration process that you have to go with. And once the registration process was done, all of the aspirants were asked to sit in the waiting area. They had prepared a waiting area where students can take a breather, and probably if they want to prepare for anything last minute, they can. So once we were completed with the registrations, the first step was to appear for the group exercise, and the group exercise was for 30 minutes. And there were students who were divided into groups of 6 students, and 6 students had to appear as a group in front of the jury. There were 2 jury members, one male and one female, wherein what was the process that they gave a statement or a topic on which we had to create something. There was a table in which on which there was a cardboard that was given, blank cardboard, and there were stationaries given, various colors, various sketch pens, and काफी सारा basic जो stationery है वो सब दिया गया था. And there was no instructions given in terms of what we were supposed to do. So that was the mystery factor, that was the X factor, that based on the statement that we were given, we just had 30 minutes as a group, and we had to decide, do we want to present, do we want to just make something on the cardboard, or do we want to discuss? So that was one brainstorming part. Now let me tell you about the topic that I was given in the GE process. So the topic that was given to my group was that imagine that coronavirus is a global leader standing at a podium at an international conference and says that 2020 was the best year to hit the world for me, as if he is COVID-19. And you are a group of journalists, 6 journalists, who have to counter that argument that COVID-19 shouldn't have hit the world in 2020, but maybe in some other year. So this was the exercise that we were given as a group, and we had to brainstorm on that. Now, generally, because a lot of students appear for various group discussions at other B schools interview process, they think that this is exactly similar to the group discussion that they will appear for, and they have to just discuss it. That was not the case here. The jury members, the panelists, were constantly observing the students on what they are speaking, how they are listening to somebody else is speaking. So those were very much of importance. At the same time, as a group, when you are working in a group, you have to respect somebody else's opinions. You don't have to constantly counter them just because you do not agree with them. So as it was a group effort, and everyone had to act in a group. And apart from that, the process was like that we brainstormed, and we came up with a world map. For our group, we came up with a world map on which we talk about the societal, the technological, the healthcare related aspects of this thing. And we came up with that very standard journalist type of questions that journalists do ask to any leader standing at a podium. So we made sure that the journalism factor is also there, and the work is presented very well within time. So we had a deadline of 28 to 30 minutes, and we had to come up with that. That was a very good exercise. There was no hassle, and all the students were because anybody who's appearing for MICA and who's coming to the MICA process is already gone through the descriptive test, so has gone through the opinions, has gone through the storytelling part of it, so that whenever they are appearing for it, they are ready, and they know how creative they have to be, how problem solving attitude they should be having. So this was first part. उसके बाद स्टूडेंट्स को वापस वेटिंग एरिया में आना था, एंड टर्न बाय टर्न जैसे ही आपका नंबर आता है इंटरव्यू के लिए, पर्सनल इंटरव्यू के लिए, आप जा सकते हैं. नाउ one very interesting thing about MICA's personal interview is that it is not a typical Indian B school MBA interview that you appear for. It is very different in the way the interview is taken, the way questions are being asked, the type of questions that are being asked. They are very different because MICA is a communication school, and MICA is is an institution which is called as Mecca of marketing. So you have to be very well structured in your approach whenever you are appearing for an interview of a B school or a C school that is very focused on the field that it is offering the masters for. So they do look at your clarity of thought. At the same time, they do not. So my interview process, which I'll talk about in a bit, they do give importance to your story. They do give importance to what you have to say about the experiences that you've had and what all things you learned. So उस चीज का importance काफी ज्यादा है. Now, one very important thing to mention is that MICA has this format that whenever you are appearing for the interview, a week before that, you have to complete a MICA profile form that they send you in your email. Now, MICA profile form is something which is so much of importance because there is a statement of purpose that you have to mention. So, मैं ये बताऊंगा अभी कि क्या-क्या चीजें MICA के profile form में होती हैं. So, starting from your educational qualification, जहाँ पे आपका 10th 12th एंड अंडरग्रेड्स का आपको डिटेल्स, मार्क्स एंड CGPA बताना होता है. उसके बाद देयर वाज अ क्वेश्चन ऑन to list 3 training programs or courses other than the academic courses that you may have completed. So there are students के जिन्होंने शायद कोई ऑनलाइन कोर्स किया है या कोई ऑनलाइन या ऑफलाइन ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम अपार्ट फ्रॉम एकेडमिक्स किया है, तो वो मेंशन करना होता है. उसके बाद there are maximum of 3 achievements in your extracurricular activities that you have to mention. So ये एक बहुत ही important चीज है क्योंकि इसके बेसिस पे इंटरव्यू में क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. So बहुत ही ध्यान से सोच समझ के extracurricular activities भी mention करना होता है. उसके बाद if anybody has a work experience, they have to mention their work experience detail. And let me clarify here, internship is not counted as a work experience. If you have your full-time experience at any organization for more than 6 months, then only it is counted. Uske baad there is a personal statement which has 2 parts and which is the final part. So you have to mention your statement of purpose. Now, statement of purpose for any college or institution that you are joining should not be similar. It should be different and it should be unique, because there are some things as a master's institution MICA is offering. So you have to research about that. You have to understand that what the institution has to offer. What do you want to study in your master's, and then club that, and then think about, what is the genuine purpose for which you want to be part of MICA. So think about that, and then probably write on a rough sheet of paper, and then finally write it. उसके बाद एक चीज ये बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग लगी, क्योंकि ये कहीं पे ऐसा मेंशन करने को कोई दूसरी भी स्कूल्स में पूछते नहीं है. एक प्रोफाइल फॉर्म में लास्ट क्वेश्चन ऐसा था कि आपकी 3 स्ट्रॉन्ग लाइक्स और तीन स्ट्रॉन्ग डिसलाइक्स मेंशन कीजिए इन द ऑर्डर ऑफ इम्पोर्टेंस. तो ये एक काफी क्रिएटिव क्वेश्चन लगा मुझे, बिकॉज उन लोग ने उसमें कोई स्पेसिफिकेशन नहीं दिया था कि आपको किस तरह से लाइक्स और डिसलाइक्स लिखनी है. सो दैट वाज वन वेरी क्रिएटिव चैलेंज दैट आई फेल्ट राइटिंग द प्रोफाइल फॉर्म ऑफ माइका. सो this is about the profile form of MICA. Now coming back to the D-Day, once the group exercise is done, now you have to appear for your personal interview. So as I said that students have to wait in line for their turn to appear, and they will be called that now is your turn, so you have to appear for it. MICA is probably the only institution that took the interviews offline this year on campus. Given I would like to state here that they did take all the preventive measures to ensure that all the social distancing and everything is taken care of. Now surprisingly, my interview was the first interview on that day. So I was someone jiska interview list mein sabse pehle tha. So I was the first person to appear for in front of MICA's interview panel. The interview was for 25 to 30 minutes. There were 3 panelists, and there were 2 female panelists, and there was 1 male panelist. All 3 of them asked me questions, and so my interview started with this question, because all of them now will have my MICA profile form. So उन लोग ने वो उसके अंदर से जो चीजें मैंने मेंशन की वो पढ़ी होगी. So सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन ये था कि आप ये बताइए कि आपने इस प्रोफाइल फॉर्म में जो मेंशन किया है उसके अलावा आपने क्या किया है. So ये सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन यही था. They started my interview not with an introduction. They started my interview with this question कि आप ये बताइए कि आपने इसमें मेंशन नहीं किया है, ऐसा आपने क्या कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग किया है. So because I run a podcast, I talked about my podcast, and then they started asking me questions based on how did I come up with the idea, what did I do about the business of it. So they put a lot of emphasis on the business aspect of everything that I did. So they were testing me on my business skills, that whichever creative project that you are doing in the field of media, क्या आप उसके बिजनेस एस्पेक्ट को समझ रहे हैं, क्या आप उसके बिजनेस एस्पेक्ट का अंडरस्टैंडिंग ले रहे हैं कि नहीं, आपका बिजनेस थिंकिंग कैसा है, वो उसके बेसिस पे क्वेश्चंस थे. उसके बाद because I have written a research paper, I was asked a lot of questions based on the research paper. What research paper is about, what type of research methodology did I use, and what sampling methods did I use, what was the survey that I conducted. So उसके बेसिस पे काफी सारे questions थे. उसके बाद the questions came to interest and hobbies. Now this is one part, you have to mention interest and hobbies which you are very sure about. So अगर आपको ऐसा लग रहा है कि आप रीडिंग बुक्स एज एन हॉबी आप अगर दिखा रहे हैं, तो आप प्लीज उसके लिए प्रिपेयर होके जाइए, बिकॉज दे विल आस्क यू क्वेश्चंस इन डिटेल अबाउट इट. So because I mentioned that reading and writing poetry is something that is of my interest, so there were questions asked to me based on that. So I would recommend everyone and anyone who's preparing for MICA that be it any hobby, ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि everybody should have a hobby of reading books. That's not necessary. But please जो भी आपका hobby है उसके लिए आप सही तरीके से preparation कीजिए. Plus उसके बाद there were some questions which were out of the blue and which were very outstanding. तो एक ऐसा क्वेश्चन भी था कि निहित, do you think should there be ethics in communication? Now this was a very out of the blue question which I had to take some time and think about it and then answer. So yeah, that was one question. And then there was one other question which was asked to me by another panelist कि अगर लेट्स से आपको एक फाइनेंशियल प्रोडक्ट सेल करना है, रेडियो पे आपको मार्केट करना है, तो अभी उसके अंदर ऐसा है कि आपको सिर्फ 20 सेकेंड दिए जाते हैं रेडियो में, तो आपका जो कस्टमर है, क्लाइंट है, वो ऐसा बोल रहा है कि जो टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस अप्लाई वाला जो पार्ट है उसमें 20 सेकेंड्स में मुझे वो नहीं डालना, मुझे सिर्फ प्रोडक्ट के बारे में बताना है। तो आप उसको कैसे कन्विंस करेंगे कि टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस अप्लाई आप उसके अंदर इंक्लूड कीजिए, क्योंकि फॉर एवरी सेकेंड ऑफ रेडियो मार्केटिंग ही इज स्पेंडिंग मनी। तो ये एक क्वेश्चन था विच वॉज अ वेरी न्यू क्वेश्चन फॉर मी। एंड उसके बेसिस पे भी और क्वेश्चन थे। सो देयर वर सम क्वेश्चंस बेस्ड ऑन एथिक्स ऑफ बिजनेस एंड एथिक्स इन कम्युनिकेशन। सो ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन था कि आपको क्या लगता है कि टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस अप्लाई ये कंपनीज क्यों इंक्लूड करती है उनके ऐड में, बी इट LIC और एनी अदर फाइनेंशियल बिजनेसेस। फिर उन्होंने ऐसा भी पूछा था मुझसे कि आपको ऐसा क्यों लगता है कि जो आपने देखा होगा कि जो नॉर्मल एडवर्टाइजमेंट है प्रोडक्ट की, वो एक नॉर्मल स्पीड पे चल रही होती है, उसके बाद टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस अप्लाई बहुत ही फास्ट पेस्ड पे वो लोग दिखाते हैं, तो वैसा क्यों है। सो दैट वाज वन क्रिएटिव क्वेश्चन जो मुझे आंसर करना पड़ा। उसके बाद बिकॉज मैंने ब्रांडिंग एंड मार्केटिंग में इंटर्नशिप की है, तो उसके बारे में काफी डिटेल में क्वेश्चंस थे, कैसे मैंने अप्रूवल रेटिंग्स लाए, कैसा मेरा CRM मेरा कैसा था, उसके बेसिस पे भी काफी क्वेश्चंस थे। उसके बाद there were questions based on CSR activities or volunteering experiences that I've done. So because I have worked with National Service Scheme NSS, I mentioned that I worked with that organization and I came up with an education drive for the rural area of the institution nearby. So I did mention that. उसके बाद there was this question which was specific to MICA कि because MICA offers these 4 specializations, आपको कौन सा specialization चाहिए अगर आप select होते हैं, तो आपका plan क्या है। फिर because I mentioned that okay I plan to work in marketing analytics, तो they asked me कि why do you think आपको marketing analytics करना है। So you have to have this clarity कि for me it was like because I have pursued computer engineering in my bachelor's, so I have a little bit of understanding of data analytics and I feel that marketing is a field interest and career interest that I have. I think it's a great combination and it's a futuristic field. तो वो एक चीज पर्सनालिटी आपकी प्रेजेंट करता है कि आपका क्लैरिटी ऑफ थॉट कितना है। एंड अगर आप माइका में आना चाहते हैं तो आपको माइका के बारे में कितना पता है। फिर there were 2-3 questions इसके बेसिस पे कि there was one point blank question which was about के which are the most 3 unique things about you, about your personality, तो वो आप बताइए। तो वो एक सडनली क्या है कि स्टूडेंट्स प्रिपेयर करते हैं, बट जब वो उस एनवायरमेंट में जब आप ऐसे चेयर में बैठे और इन फ्रंट ऑफ 3 पैनलिस्ट जो आपको कॉन्स्टेंटली क्वेश्चन करे, तो कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि स्टूडेंट्स को ऐसा लगता है कि नहीं अभी क्या बोले, कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं। तो वो एक चीज है कि थोड़ा उस टाइम पे ऐसा आपको लगता है कि नहीं आई शुड हैव प्रिपेयर्ड। सो इफ यू फील कि आपको प्रिपेयर करना चाहिए देन डू प्रिपेयर फॉर इट। उसके बाद एक ये चीज है कि ये लास्ट में उन्होंने ये भी पूछा था कि यू नो के वी आर नॉट ऑफरिंग एनी स्पेशलाइजेशन इन द फील्ड ऑफ फाइनेंस और सप्लाई चेन और इट्स नॉट अ टिपिकल इंडियन बी स्कूल, सो व्हाई डू यू वांट टू डू मार्केटिंग। तो why marketing, why MBA की जगह पे why marketing was the question, and on which I had to explain that okay you know this is the reason, the past experiences that I've had in the field make me make me say that I have this perspective around pursuing marketing as a career. So this was about it, and they were very keen on listening to what I had to say about each and everything that I've done. There was no grilling per se. I would say it was a very good interaction. It felt like an informal formal interaction, but it was definitely very professional, and they wanted me to speak, and the questions were based on what I spoke. So I think it was very relevant interview based on what MICA, PGP and like PGDM and PGDM-C has to offer. And yeah, that's it from my side.
Okay. Yes, Neil, it was interesting actually. I was listening patiently. Okay, ये actually मैं visualize कर पा रही थी कि I'm in MICA and registration desk and then for GE, and when you said कि एक female jury थी, female member and male member, तो मतलब I'm visualizing the things. So it's a very very interesting way to elaborate your experience. So basically, to get the call of MICA, you have to clear the CAT and MICAT exam, and there are 50% weightage, right? So 50% weightage of the CAT and 50% weightage of the MICAT exam for to get the call, right? And
Correct.
in the final selection, so what is the weightage of CAT, MICAT, G, and PI? Because there are the four
Okay.
sections.
So for any of these exams, CAT, XAT or GMAT, there is a 20% weightage in the final merit. There is a 30% weightage of MICAT exam. Whichever you scored well in, be it MICAT 1 or 2, you can still appear for both and best of two will be considered.
Okay,
So
20%
30%
weightage for the CAT
CAT or
and
XAT.
CAT Z means जो भी आप एग्जाम दे रहे हो, CAT Z
Correct.
और GMAT, right?
GMAT. Yes.
And 30% weightage of MICAT exam.
MICAT. Correct.
Okay.
30% of MICAT. Then there is 20% weightage of group exercise, G.
Mhm.
And there is last 30% weightage for personal interview, PI.
मीन्स और पीआई डेफिनेटली आपके जो आपने प्रोफाइल फॉर्म फिल किया है उस पे से काफी ज्यादा वेटेज रहने वाला है, तो अपना प्रोफाइल फॉर्म थोड़ा ध्यान से भरना है. Yes, it was the crucial part. Okay, so it's a total 100%. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Nihit, I think you covered in a very very good way, very very good manner, and बहुत अच्छे से elaborate किया है. I hope this will definitely help the students जिन लोगों को call आया है जाने से पहले. Okay, thank you so much Nihit. और जो students ने अभी MICAT का जो वीडियो नहीं देखा है MICAT के एग्जाम का पैटर्न के लिए, तो प्लीज इससे प्रीवियस वाली जो वीडियो है वो उसमें हमने MICAT एग्जाम का जो पैटर्न था वो ही मतलब पूरा डिस्कस किया है. यस, आई होप हम लोग दोबारा से आएंगे कुछ एक अच्छे इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस को लेके, और डेफिनेटली SIBM पुणे, बिकॉज यू कन्वर्टेड SIBM पुणे वेरी रिसेंटली एंड NM मुंबई, एंड ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर द MICA रिजल्ट.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you Nihit, thank you.
Thank you.